for watching. Today I'm going to be showing you some of my very favorite tips and tricks for getting flawless looking skin when you may not have flawless skin to begin with. I've definitely suffered with acne on and off for many years now, so my skin is just far from perfect. So even when it's clear, I'm still dealing with like kind of really textured skin. I'm still dealing with kind of old scars and things like that. So these are some tips and tricks that I have picked up along the way, and I hope you enjoy. We can go ahead and get started. Okay, first off, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of get my hair out of the way. Just going to clip it back. Okay, so the very first thing that I'm going to do is I want to get some hydration to my under eye area, because if that area gets dry, makeup can really kind of sit on it and just it doesn't look natural. It kind of looks like it can make it look cakey if that area is not very well moisturized. So one that I really enjoy is, and that's really affordable, is the e.l.f. Hydrating Under Eye Primer. And that's just what it does. It's a really great primer for that under eye area. And you want to be really gentle in this area. So I like to use my ring finger. And the reason that I like to do this first is I do this before I do like any moisturizer or anything, because this is such a light cream that it doesn't necessarily like penetrate through your heavier moisturizers and that type of thing. So I like to go in and I like to really let that sink in for the longest amount of time too. So once I kind of rub it in, then I just go back through and just kind of make sure it's patted into my skin. Okay, next, and this isn't a step that everyone has to do, but this is one that I like to do. I like to go in with some sort of a benzoyl peroxide treatment, and this is kind of an acne prevention, acne treatment product. So if you really don't suffer from acne, you don't need to do this, but just kind of whatever you like to do on a day-to-day basis for your personal skin. I like to just be really, I try to be proactive instead of reactive with acne. And benzoyl peroxide is definitely my favorite treatment. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is go in with a moisturizer. I'm going to use this oil-free Mary Kay Clear Proof moisturizer today. Any moisturizer that you like will work. This is kind of a daytime formula, so it's really nice and just kind of light on the skin. And at nighttime, that's when you'll want to use kind of your thicker moisturizers. But something during the day. You don't want anything like too oily or too greasy. And you want to do all these kind of moisturizing steps because that's really going to make your skin just like supple and soft and just beautiful. Give it a really great kind of foundation to start before you put on your foundation. Just kind of a really nice base to start with. Okay, this next step is really, really important for getting flawless looking skin, and it's to use a primer. So a primer that I would definitely recommend is one that's kind of like a gel silicone based primer. So some examples is the e.l.f. Blemish Control Primer, or the Poreless Face Primer, or like Body Shop, they make one. This is Skin Primer Matted. Or a really good one too is the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. And I really like these. I'll kind of show you the texture of it. So this is the Maybelline Baby Skin Pore Eraser, and it's just like, it's a really silicone material, or I guess kind of a texture, and so it just like goes in and it completely just fills up your pores and just sits in them, so it just gives your face this totally like poreless looking appearance. So I don't know if you can kind of see it on my hand, and then it just really soft, so it just lets your foundation just really glide over it. So those are some affordable options for that. Oh, I skipped a step though. Before I actually like to go in with my primer, but after my moisturizer, I like to first go in with the Nivea Men Cooling Post Shave Balm. And this is just going to help extend the life of your makeup and your foundation of your face makeup. So right after my moisturizer, I go in with this. But this doesn't have any of like that silicone properties to it, and so I like to just solely use this to help kind of elongate the wear time of my makeup. Okay, so then after I do that, then I like to go in with a primer. Today I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. I'm going to just do one side to show you the difference that it makes. And you just really need to do this like the places that really need it. So like I have my biggest pore problems like right around my nose area and a little bit up onto my forehead, and then kind of this like top part of my cheeks. So this is the side that has the primer on it. This is the side without. So as you can see, it just kind of glides over your skin and just kind of fills in any of those like bumps or pores, and just kind of gives it like a more even kind of level of everything. It kind of just levels everything out. Okay, now I'll go ahead and finish applying. And I really like these kind of silicone primers too, because you can even wear them, like if you're not wearing any makeup that day, you can even just put a little bit of these on, and they'll just kind of like smooth and blur out your skin and just make it look like airbrushed without even wearing makeup. It just like blurs any imperfections and that type of thing. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and go in with foundation. I've been enjoying the Rimmel 25-hour, what's this called, lasting finish with comfort serum. I'm in the color 200 soft beige. Today I'm going to go in with a brush first, and I'm going to use this e.l.f. Big brush. I wish I had the name of it. I think it's, I'll link the name of this below, but it's just basically a big kabuki brush by e.l.f. So I sometimes like to start off with a brush, but really the most important part of putting on your foundation is at least finishing with a sponge. So I'm going to use so once you go in, and you can either do it with start off with a sponge and just do a sponge the entire way, or you can start off with a brush and then go and finish with a sponge. But either way, you do need to kind of finish with a sponge, and that'll just really press the foundation into your skin. It'll get rid of any kind of brush strokes, anything like that. So just go in right after and just kind of press and roll your foundation right into your skin. Okay, so I like to start with one layer of foundation and then see what I need from there. I want to go and I want to add another layer of foundation. I just want a little bit fuller coverage today. So at this point, I'm going to go in and add just a little bit more, kind of to the areas that I need it, mostly on my cheeks. But it's definitely with foundation, it's, well, with everything really, it's easier to add more than it is if you get too much. So just start with one layer, see if you need more, and then kind of go from there. And that's going to help not be, it's going to help your foundation to not be too cakey, and you to not get too much if you do kind of start with one layer and then evaluate from that point. And then, I mean, after I have my first layer, then I just like to go in with my sponge only, just to get that really like airbrushed finish that a sponge gives. Make sure to get back by your ears and down your neck. Okay, and then instead of just piling and piling on more and more foundation, if you do have a blemish and it still isn't covered, now is when you'd go in with a blemish covering concealer. One that I talked about recently that I'm really enjoying for this is the Come Correct Celebrity Concealer by Wet n Wild, and this literally came from Dollar Tree, which is fantastic. Another one that I really enjoy though is the Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer. This is by NYX. And this is, for this type of concealing, you want to get one that's in your skin tone, not like a lighter version like you would get kind of for under your eyes. So this is a really thick one. For blemish covering, you do want a really thick concealer, so that it'll actually do anything to you. And then just kind of go through and spot treat with your concealer. Just give like an initial blending with your finger. So then I like to go back in with my sponge and just kind of press that in, that concealer. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and conceal under our eyes, and for this I'm going to use one of my very favorites from the drugstore, which is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is a really good dupe for like the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer for a much more affordable price. I like to get the color light, and then you just want to start at your inner corners of your eyes, because that's where you kind of want the most product, is like right around there. And then you just want to sweep it kind of down and out so that it kind of makes a triangular shape. Some other areas that it looks nice to highlight is, well, basically, so if you were in your best lighting, your face from about there to there would be highlighted, and then kind of everywhere else would be more in shadow. So you kind of just want to follow that same idea with your highlighting concealer. So kind of just do a little dot on your chin. You can do a little bit right in here, like down the center of your nose. And then this kind of inner part of your forehead. And this will just like really even out the highlight on your face so that it's not just like such a bright contrast just under your eyes. This definitely isn't something you have to do every day, but just kind of, I'm just kind of showing you all my favorite steps for like my very most flawless favorite skin day, what I would do. So then I'm going to go ahead and use my sponge and just blend all this in. Concealer definitely looks best being blended in with a sponge. Especially right on your nose, you just really want to like press that in really, really well. Okay, so once we have on all of our cream products, if you were going to do a cream contour, now is when you would go in and do that. I'm not going to today, but you want to put on all of your cream products before you put on any powder products. So now I'm going to go ahead and I want to set everywhere with a powder. And a powder is just like the best finishing tool for getting a perfect flawless face, because powder kind of does the same thing as your primer. It just kind of like glides over your pores, just kind of fills anything in, covers any imperfections. It's just like the last beautiful step for getting a really nice flawless face. So one that I've really been enjoying for kind of baking and getting a really nice finish is the NYC Smooth Skin loose face powder, and this is so affordable. I've really been enjoying this. This is a translucent powder, so I like to just put a little bit into the cap, and then I like to grab my sponge, load it up, and just really put a lot of powder on right there. I like to do this with all of the areas that I put concealer on, because I just love the way that this method sets my concealer. And then I really love to do this method with my nose too, because this method just basically ensures that it just really locks in your foundation, makes it stay all day, does not budge when you kind of overset things with powder. And then I have really, really textured cheeks, and so I like to do this also right around my really textured areas, because it just fills it in so nicely with powder. And this is a translucent powder, so even though it looks like I'm just packing on the well, I am packing on a lot of powder, but it completely will just like dust away to nothing, to no color. It just sets your foundation perfectly though. So I do this in the places that I have a lot of texture or that I added a lot of concealer. You can let that sit for however long you want to. I don't usually let it sit for that long. Now I'm just going to dust all of it away, all the extra. Set my entire face with it, so kind of to get the rest off and to dust everything else off and just make sure everything else is really set, I'm going to finish with this Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. I really like this one, and this one is a color. This one is number 20 Nude Beige, and I'm just using a big kabuki brush to finish. And I always start by just kind of getting the powder on before I really just like swirl it. I kind of just pack it on first. Okay, so everything I've done up to this point has just been mostly about like filling in texture, covering blemishes, just getting like a really nice, like really even toned base. So now at this point I would go in and I'm gonna do kind of my bronzing, contouring, blush, highlighting, anything like that, and give my face a little bit more dimension. So I will do that and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back with the rest of my makeup on. I finished my under eye area, put on some lipstick, bronzer, blush, all that type of stuff. The few last tips that I have is when you are going for like your very most flawless, kind of pore-free looking face, I would avoid shimmery products. And that's because the shimmer can kind of sit on top of your skin and it kind of can make those, either your blemishes or your pores kind of stand out a little bit more. So like on a day-to-day basis, I do wear some shimmery. I like to highlight kind of my cheekbone, and I like to do sometimes some shimmery blush and that type of thing. But when I'm truly going for like my full, all out, like absolute best skin I can possibly get, I avoid shimmery products, and I use blushes and bronzers without any shimmer in them. Okay, and then the very last step, so that you don't look powdery, so that everything kind of melts together, is to use some sort of a finishing or a setting spray. So I really like, since I've kind of tried to keep everything really affordable for this video, my very favorite affordable one is by e.l.f. It's the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set, and this will just really, it meshes all of the powders together, so it just kind of helps blend and make everything not powdery. And then it also can elongate the life of your makeup. And I give a very generous spray, and try not to move your face too much. Okay, and then once that's dry, you are good to go. You'll have kind of bulletproof, locked in foundation, and it looks really just like nice and poreless, gives your skin a really smooth finish. So those are my favorite tips and tricks for getting, or maybe faking a flawless complexion if you don't really have one. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!